doing a short presentation today on game-based learning for use in undergraduate students. And to just start a little bit about what is game-based learning, it's a teaching method that uses the power of games to meet learning objectives. The goal is to teach something while the learner is playing the game. Games help concretize abstract concepts and impart important skills like communication, logistics, teamwork, and problem solving through playing the game. For teachers, games can also serve as a scaffold to learning both within the classroom, where you can decide what content needs to be covered during the game itself, and outside the classroom, where students can play games where they reflect on content that has been learned. Players engage in a challenge and work together and receive feedback that elicits some type of an emotional response, and that's the success of games. It works really well for our current students, many Gen Z learners. We know they're characterized by liking short segments of learning, working together in teams, something that's bite-sized and relevant for their particular education, interactive, and it promotes discussion and problem solving amongst those individuals. So for the next slide, what are some benefits and drawbacks to game-based learning? Well, some of the benefits I've talked about. They're interactive, they can be imaginative, engaging. It helps to improve students' attitudes towards a particular topic. It helps them with problem solving. It's learner-centered, and they can learn from their mistakes in a safe environment. So they play the game and they make a faulty decision, and it's not going to hurt anybody to do that. It can be flexible and more adaptive to a situation than course text can be. It can also increase motivation to learn because students can receive prizes, there can be a leaderboard, and they can work together to win the game. It can also increase critical thinking, which increases learning and retention of the material because they're actively engaged with the content in the game. So some of the drawbacks, competition can be a problem for some students who aren't interested in being in a competitive environment. It may be difficult to grade students' participation in the game, especially if not everybody's engaged in the game. Sometimes you can have a dominant student who takes over for a group, and therefore not all students are actively engaged in the game. It may be time-consuming for faculty to play the game, and one of the issues I've had when I've used games in class is students sometimes don't realize they're learning. They say, oh, we played a game in that class and it was really awesome. And so we need to really take the time to reflect on what did they learn when they were playing that game. So some of the principles of game-based learning, it's learning through fun and self-reliance. It's interactive. Again, it's social. It allows students to work together in teams and interact with each other to work on the course content. You can use fictional settings when you create your games. It fosters intrinsic motivation to participate. It's rule-based, goal-based, and competitive, which can be good or bad. So types of game-based learning: simulations. I'm a nursing faculty member, and this is one we use often, where we bring students into a simulated environment, and they work with mannequins to look at real-world case studies. Virtual reality, a lot of students use this. They wear headgear, and they can actually engage with some kind of a skill. Mobile devices are one of the most common, so using interactive online games. And then finally, the good old-fashioned board game that can be done in class, where students roll the dice and play some type of a game in class. So some outcomes of goal-based learning, game-based learning, there are 3 different areas: cognitive, affective, and behavioral, and I'll talk a little bit about each of those. In the cognitive domain, better knowledge retention for students, critical thinking through working through the parts of the game, also intrinsic motivation to participate in the game. In terms of affective learning in the affective domain, which is internalization of feelings and emotions for students, and sometimes we want to change their attitudes towards something, and game-based learning can do really well with this. And so in this systematic review of the literature, we found that positive emotions can occur, relief from fear about skills, and increased confidence. Game-based learning can really help students because they can work through some of their issues. They can practice skills that they might not normally get to practice, so they feel more confident. And then finally, more cooperation between students. And then in the last category, looking at behavioral domain, which is skill-based learning that can be applied to the real-world situation, how they're going to act in a situation. Improved skills, and this particular review that I've cited here was a systematic review of nursing literature using gaming, and they did find that students were more confident in being able to perform skills, particularly higher level skills like blood transfusion, participating in CPR, skills that they may not be able to get otherwise in classes, better teamwork with students working together, and finally better application of theoretical content because they got hands-on practice of something that they were learning in the classroom. And so for my final slide, I just included some references to content that I reviewed for this particular presentation if you wanted to do more reading. And as I said, I am a nursing faculty member, so I looked primarily in the nursing faculty literature. However, there is a lot of information in different